Hi guys, this is Avi Wildman Hall, and this is a Baby in a Straight Jacket podcast. And today, what I want to talk about is how running has changed my life and how it can change your life too. Um, First off, I think there's something very spiritual about running. It's something that we're designed to do as human beings. We were born to run. There's literally a book called Born to Run. Great book, by the way, if you haven't read it. And I highly recommend reading it. Because of that book, I've been a minimalist shoe wearer and runner for the last almost 10 years. And in particular, the last 5 years, last 5 years, I've run almost exclusively in Vibram Five Fingers. I'll throw a little graphic up for that. Um, I'm big into the whole barefoot running, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about why should everyone be running. Actually, I would add on, why is it the greatest sport in the world? Why is running the greatest sport in the world? Well, first off, it's accessible to everyone. You don't need anyone to give you permission to start running. You don't need any equipment. It's free. You can literally be anywhere in the world and start to become a runner. You don't need a team. You don't need teammates. It's something you can do by yourself. You can do with other people. It can be a social activity. It can be, a solo activity. For me, it's always by myself. I do it all the time by myself, all over the world. And the number one reason why you should be running is because it's going to help your mind. For me, running is one of the things I do in place of therapy. I don't go to therapy talking about my problems, although sometimes it's necessary. It's not something that I find has helped me. But I'll tell you what, running has helped me a ton. So is martial arts, so is lifting weights, just exercise in general, meditation, all this stuff. But running for me is moving meditation. There's just something magical that happens when you start running and literally your head just clears, and just you process your thoughts. And running at any time of day is great, but I highly recommend running first thing in the morning when you wake up. The earlier, the better. Between being asleep, that time period between being asleep and waking up, there's kind of like this twilight dawn period where you're not in dreamland anymore, but you're not fully conscious. It's this in-between state. And when you're in that in-between state, I always like to say, I'm not in control. I'm not in the driver's seat. And any crazy thoughts I have going on in the back of my mind, any nasty thoughts, any toxic ideas, feelings, they're all kind of come to the front. And so for me, I really love to wake up that time of morning and start running when my brain is still in that process. And I deal with those nasty thoughts, those toxic negative emotions. I deal with them head on. I run my way through them. I process them. I acknowledge them. I look at them, and I just keep on running. And it's almost like it just goes in you and then out you. As you're moving your body, you're moving the thoughts out of you too. And without fail, by the end of the run, I'm always thinking clearer. I've let go of the negative emotions, and I'm just kind of ready to take on the day. Another really big benefit that you're going to gain from running is increased discipline. Now, I'm not like a Will Smith fanboy or anything, but I once heard him give a speech. I believe it was at the Kid Choice Awards for Nickelodeon. This is many years ago. And he gave some of the best advice I've ever heard a celebrity or anyone give to anyone else. And it was very simple. He told the kids, he said, if you want to be successful in life, there's two things you need to do. You need to read books and you need to run. He said, reading books is because no matter what problems you might have, there's someone throughout history who's had the same problem and wrote a book about it. There's no problem that you haven't had before that someone hasn't written a book about it and can help you. And then he said, run. He said, because if you can learn to run through your pain and keep on going when it's hurting, you're going to learn to run through, keep on pushing through other difficult circumstances. You're going to be able to sit down and study for longer when it's uncomfortable. You're going to be able to pursue your goals because you're able to endure that pain. So running is basically teaching you to keep on going when you want to quit. And I fully agree with that too. For me, running, particularly early in the morning, is it's discipline training, it's mental training, it's mental toughness training, and you can't put a price on it. That's so valuable, so valuable. Um, Now, here's the obvious reason why you should be running. Because it's going to get you in really good shape and it's going to improve your health. It's going to make your heart stronger. It's going to make your lungs stronger. It's going to improve circulation. You're going to be less likely to get sick. You're not going to be obese. You're less likely to get those diseases like diabetes, heart disease. I would go so far to say even cancer. Just if you're living a healthy lifestyle and running, or any type of exercise, but particularly running, um, it's good for your health. And if you're any other type of athlete, if you're running, that's going to drastically increase your gas tank. That's going to make your ability, like if you're a wrestler or jiu-jitsu or boxing, or even just basketball, lacrosse, take your pick, whatever sport, you're going to be able to perform at your top potential for longer because you're not going to get tired. When you're running, think of it as specialized training. Like if you're weightlifting and you're isolating a muscle just to make it bigger, well, think of running and also other endurance activities as isolation training for your heart and your lungs. Like you're specifically getting those things stronger. And yeah, it's going to get your legs stronger and all that too, but really it's your cardio that you're really going to have this big benefit that's going to carry over to others, because you're literally you're taxing your lungs and your heart much more than you would if you're doing other types of activities. And there's just something about long continuous running that has all these really great benefits on your body. So there is a scientific study done, and I'll link it, where they actually were able to prove and show that when you're doing long distance, low stress aerobic activity, that it stimulates neurogenesis in your brain. It stimulates growing new neurons and nerve cells in your brain, right? And it does that by promoting this protein that's used to build neurons. And so the basic idea behind this is that it doesn't just have to be running. It can be swimming, it can be cycling, but it's long distance, low stress, right? So by low stress, like CrossFit or running sprints, these are high stress activities. You're going fast and then you're stopping. So these don't fall into that category. Those do not, although really great for your conditioning, your body and your health and just great exercise, they're not going to stimulate neurogenesis. Where if you go for a long run, a long swim, do a triathlon, this is actually really going to help your brain. Now, this is really great if just you want to get smarter. Something a lot of people don't realize, a lot of chess masters actually do triathlons because it helps them doing the triathlons, and the endurance actually helps them when they're these really long chess games, which surprisingly are physically taxing because they're thinking so hard. So they do triathlons. Everyone knows Nick and Nate Diaz. They're famous for doing triathlons, and the evidence is there. When they fight, they just literally outpace, out cardio, out endure the other people until the other people get tired, wilt, and then they just take them out. Yeah, what else? Yeah, so it'd be low stress. It'd be so my magic number. Some people ask me, how long should it be, or what should you start out at? Right? Like, hey, I'm new to endurance sports. How long do I need to do cardiovascular activity? How long do I need to run or swim or whatever before I start seeing the results? My magic number is 30 minutes. This is what I noticed. Less than 30 minutes, it feels good while you're doing it, but as soon as you stop, the benefit goes away. At 30 minutes and longer, you start to get increased benefits just on your mood, your well-being, all this stuff. Clearing your mind. It's almost like on a timer starting after 30 minutes. So if you can get to 40 minutes, even better. If you can get to an hour, even better, right? You get to 2 hours or marathon distances, all that. Wow, you're going to have some surreal experiences. You're going to get some incredible runner highs. So that's another thing I'd like to point out, how running has changed my life. It's really helped me deal with depression. So if you're a person who's dealing with depression, whatever may have caused that depression, there is a physical component to depression, right? Where it's just like there's something in your brain's not functioning how it needs to, right? Now that can be caused by trauma, it can be caused by chemical imbalance, it can be caused by any number of things. But usually, whatever it is, either directly or as a result of what's happened, when you're experiencing depression, that something isn't working right in your brain. Like some parts of your brain that need to be more active aren't firing, right? And what I found is running is like this natural drug, just, I mean, it literally just, it can help with depression so much. I would just highly recommend it to anyone out there who, if you suffer from depression or anxiety, before you try medication, try running first. Try, 3 to 4 times a week, at least half an hour, work up from there. I think it could change your life, and because I know for me, it's dramatically improved my quality of life by running regularly. And when I'm training for a race, I'm running 4 to 5 times a week on top of my other regular training, on top of jujitsu, on top of lifting weights, right? If I'm not training for a competition, I'm still running probably at least 3 times a week, just because it feels good, And there are some drawbacks to running. Like sometimes my joints really hurt. I have to like let my feet get a rest because my feet just literally hurt. And that's okay. You take your rest when you need to, and you can always do other stuff. You can always swim. You can always lift weights because those things tend to just not stress out your joints. They'll put, they'll exercise your muscles. But they allow the joints to recover. And so running literally has the power to change your life. To become a new person, to develop discipline, to heal mental illness, to increase your mood, to help you think. If you have a difficult problem, whether it's a personal problem, professional problem, or just maybe you're a computer programmer and you're trying to figure out the answer, what's wrong in your code so you can make it work. I'm telling you, if you go for a run and then come back, that's really, really going to help. And, I think walking is great also, but here's my experience with walking. Walking is really good for coming up with ideas. It's not as great for dealing with anxiety or depression, right? Also to get benefit from walking, just the lower the intensity, the longer, the more the volume has to be. So, for instance, I can go for a 1 hour run and get like a seriously good run in, right? If I'm cycling, right, I'm on a bicycle, we're talking really, you need at least 2 hours minimum to get a good workout in, right? So it's just certain exercises require more volume because the intensity is less, right? Whereas like swimming, so swimming's full body activity. You might be able to, get a really great workout out in really quick in 20 minutes. Now I love to swim. I'll swim for much longer. I'll swim for at least an hour or two. But I'm just saying for regular people, even for myself, if I get in there just for 20 minutes, even I can get a really good workout in. Whereas running, it takes me longer to get a good workout in. And cycling, even longer. Walking probably would take me the longest, right? Like I can get seriously tired and exhausted and get a good workout in hiking. But it might take me 4 hours to do it, right? Hiking up and down mountains in the jungle, wherever. So anyway, in conclusion, guys, I just wanted to bring this up. Think about running. For me, when I was in high school, I was sort of into running just on my own. I really enjoyed it, and I ended up not joining the cross country team, mainly because there was like a social stigma attached to the cross country team at my school. It was kind of like thought that there were people who weren't good athletes that they joined the cross country team because they got cut from all the other teams, right? And that was a big mistake on my part. I missed out on something that I really, really love, and I missed out on it just because some people that I didn't really think were very cool or doing something I loved. And, or could, at that point, I didn't realize I loved it. And so I was like, oh no, that running stuff, that's for those dorks or whatever, like, and I ended up playing other sports, and I regret that. I regret that because I think I just really would have enjoyed it and I would have done really well. But luckily, I managed to find running later in life, so all is not lost. But yeah, if you're someone, maybe you've done other sports, maybe you haven't, but just give it an honest try. See what happens if you dedicate a month of your life to running 3 times a week, and just observe, like, how does it make you feel? How do you find that your mind is thinking afterwards? How's your mood? All this stuff, because I just really believe that running has this incredible healing potential, this healing power. So on that note, guys, get out there, get it, out in the trails, on the road, go for a freaking run. Turn this YouTube off right now. I'll talk to you guys next week.